YouTube, what's going on? We're only looking at this one briefly. A couple of nice Volkswagens from Greenlight. This truck has kind of been forgotten about. This was an early all-terrain release. Really nice truck. In fact, it's to this date the only time I think that this has been released um, with the lift kit and the civilian deco. I don't think we've seen it since. Came out in a Golf deco lifted. There might have been like a exclusive or something like that. We're gonna crack a couple of Greenlight cars from Blue Collar Series 4 1970 Chevrolet C10. Maybe. Hang on, stand by. I did not cut these enough, did I? Gotta be careful with this one too. Got it. Sorry about all that racket and camera work. This is kind of a delicate piece though because of the ladder rack. So here we go. Number 1377. This is the second time they've put out the C10 with the utility or the ladder rack. First one was like a faded green. This one is like a faded, I don't know what color I'd call that. Maybe like an olive type of a color. It's not faded like the other green one, but it's definitely not a gloss finish. There is some mud splatter here on the rear quarter panel. Check out those steelies on that. That looks great. The two-tone paint with the white rocker panel and the white greenhouse. It's a nice truck. Grill looks really good. The bow tie, you got the indicators. Headlights are very detailed with the chrome around the lens. This is one of Greenlight's strongest castings, I think. Outside of the Crown Vic, it's probably the most utilized tooling that they have. And the Crown Vic is so utilized in the Hot Pursuit lineup that you almost have to bypass it, because this is probably, outside of the Hot Pursuit, this is probably their number one tool. And the funny thing about that is I don't know that this tooling has ever even made an appearance in the Hot Pursuit. It definitely should. Really cool truck. Here's the tailgate and taillight detail. The lighting is really poor. I apologize for that. Try to fix it here in a minute. Here's the reason that it's poor is I uploaded some pictures onto Instagram, but I'm kind of toying around here with the idea of a car dealership, and got the light on it, but this is a practice run at it. So now that I have an idea of how I'm going to do the sidewalk, and this is not how I'm going to do it. This is why it helps to do practice runs. But it gives me a good basis. It gives me something to go off of. I'll do the expansion joints a little bit differently. I'll do the curb differently. It's way too high for a curb for S scale, let alone HO scale. But I think the hedge bushes look nice. A little bit of work going into those, because you can buy these at Hobby Lobby and they look okay, but what you need to do, I think, in my opinion, is add coarse turf. I added 2 different colors of coarse turf and it really filled them in, and I kind of shaped them in such a way that it wasn't so uniform. But I do see a future use for these type of bushes. So it's a good good practice run. I'm not happy with it as a permanent deal. So this will be a layout that I sell. I might even give this one away because I don't know if I could even sell it. But I'm certainly not going to get rid of the building. On the final layout, I'll paint the floor and I'll build a little desk. I might see if Champion DJK can help me out with some LED lights for this one. I don't need them for the gas station, but for this, I think it would be very helpful, especially you know, with the floor painted and everything, because this, you could fit a couple of cars in there, have your little showroom. So anyways, back to the video here. So I pulled this out. I did a wheel swap, and I do need to permanently fix these wheels to the axles, because it's a nice roller. It rolls fine, but they're not secure, and it doesn't take much, and they will fall off. But I definitely like the look of this much better than the stock wheels. So I just need to, I think what I need to do is get some axles that are just a little bit longer. But the reason I brought this out to show it is not to show it again, but I found today this little guy. This thing is sweet looking, so I'm going to take it out of the packaging. Hopefully this will be a little bit easier than the truck was. Sure it will be. The truck was mainly a pain because of that ladder rack. This one, you got to be somewhat careful, and I'll show you why, because I do have a concern. Something I thought about today that concerns me about this tooling. Because I really do love the tooling. I'm not a big Volkswagen fan, but I love this little wagon tooling. So we got some residue there on the hood. Let's see if we can see that. I think that that'll all wipe off. Let's give it a try here. The stuff that, man, so much of the time I'll crack a Greenlight car, not even Greenlight, but also Auto World, or shoot, even Hot Wheels have them sometimes, where there'll be like an oily residue or fingerprints or whatever. So this is the panel version. This is the civilian deco here. The tinted glass. What really stood out to me the most on this is these wheels. But that is awesome. I like the color. It's like a banana color. Like, here's the banana peel, and there's the banana. What was that song the Ramones did that the Chili Peppers covered? They didn't cover it on a CD. They played it in concert from time to time. When I talk about bananas, Havana Affair, I think it is. You guys should YouTube that. Chili Peppers did a sick cover of that song. John Frusciante, Like I like the Chili Peppers, but I'm not like die hard. I saw them once, but I went to see them because they were playing with one of my all-time favorite bands, Stone Temple Pilots. And but looking back in hindsight, John Frusciante, in my opinion, is up there with Kurt Cobain for like one of the best songwriters of the 1990s. The dude was amazing. Still is. He's an amazing guitar player. He's an amazing songwriter. He's written almost all of the Chili Peppers' best songs, going back to Blood Sugar after Hillel passed away and he joined the band. And yeah, you guys should check out that cover, though. They did it live it was somewhere in Ireland, I think, or Scotland. And it's a ridiculous. It's so good. It's so good. Anyways, I don't know why I got off on that little tangent, but I do thoroughly enjoy music of all kinds, except for modern country and modern hip hop. My hip hop that I listen to that I enjoy ends at about 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. And my country that I like pretty much ends at Garth Brooks. Anything before that. But other than that, I listen to everything. I love rock. So, gosh, I don't know why I got off on that tangent. But if you guys are Chili Pepper fans, YouTube Chili Peppers Ramones cover live. It's very, very good. Very entertaining. All right, let's take a closer look at this little T3. This thing looks so killer. It's going to be hard for me to get a street view with the bushes here. Let me move it back and see if I can get it there. The wheels on this thing was like the first thing I noticed in the package. I was very impressed with the detail on these wheels. They look amazing. They would look great on so many different castings. I'm not sure. I would assume these are prototypical. My biggest concern with this tooling is these headlights, because I've had, Greenlight does a fair amount of lens headlights. They do far more than like M2 or obviously Auto World, because they do lens headlights on, I think, 2 or 3 toolings. But Greenlight does it quite a bit. They do it on all of their Jeeps, multiple Volkswagen castings that they have. All of their half-ton late model pickups have lensed headlights. All of their Ford castings, all of their late model Ford castings have lensed headlights. They do a whole bunch of lens taillights as well. So there's a lot of that stuff that they do, and I've only ever had issues with the Jeep Wranglers, which are round headlights. They have one, I think, with square headlights too, but it's like the 2015 model with the round headlights. That's the one that I always have issues with. And they look very similar to these. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same lens. And if Greenlight was smart, they'd probably do it that way to save cost. But that's the only thing about this that really concerns me, because it would be pretty devastating to the tooling to have these little lenses come out or fall out. It would destroy the look of the car. But you know what? I guess maybe not. I bet you that's probably easier to fix than what you might think. There's got to be a way that you could mold a lens out of hot glue or something. But this little casting looks killer. Another thing I noticed about this, similar to the panel, both releases came with a hitch. So I'm not sure what that's about. I really don't know. I don't know which one I like better. I like both of them a lot. I know out of the package I like the yellow one better just because the wheels on this are so much nicer. But this one, after the wheel swap, looks really good too, and I really like the rack on it. Even though it has its imperfections with the it's a little smushed in here. It came out of the package that way, so that's kind of a bummer, but I still really like it. So I'm not sure which one I like, but I like the civilian model with the privacy glass. To me, that looks really good. I'm not sure what's going on with the C pillar on this model. On this model, being the panels are recessed, and on this one, being the civilian model, the windows, oh, they are recessed. It's really hard to tell on camera. They are recessed, and then there's just detail because all of the window trim on this is painted black. So here's the thing. I don't know if this is a factory deco. I think it looks good. I think even with the black it looks good. It might have looked better with chrome, but I don't know how it came from Volkswagen. Honestly, I think if you're going to do black, like weather stripping and window trim, I think you should just go all out black and do all black bumpers and like the little leaf window. Instead of being chrome, that should be black. Maybe even doing the wheels black. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But I do like the overall look of this release. I love Greenlight bringing out these new castings, and most of them are turning out to be really nice toolings. Just a couple exceptions to that, mainly just the 240Z, because even the Gran Torinos I think came out really nice. The 77 Monaco came out really nice. The Le Mans came out really nice. I'm not the biggest fan of the way they did the front grille on all of those, but I get why they did it that way, so they could do different model years. Other than that, I really like what they've done. I think they've done a fantastic job. The 510 I think looks great, and haven't seen the Hako yet. But the LLV came out great. The Continental came out great. I know there's so many I'm missing. The Chevy panel came out really nice. They just really crushed it. I don't think, even with the volume of toolings they've been putting out, I don't personally feel like there's been much of a compromise in the quality. If there has been a compromise, I don't feel like it's been a significant compromise. Someone commented on one of my videos recently and said that the reason Auto World doesn't put out more toolings is because it would compromise the quality of their castings. There's no logic in that. That makes absolutely no sense. They don't correlate. Like, one doesn't correlate with the other. It's all about the production. So if you're going to do a production run of 2,500, then your production quality should be much greater than if you do a production run of 10,000. There's a correlation there. But to say that their quality would go down by designing new toolings, that doesn't make any sense. And then someone else commented just today and said, the hype with the Auto World square body will die out just like everything else. And I'm like, no, it won't. Well, I mean, I guess it will, just like it has with the Hot Wheels 83 Sylvie. I mean, it's going to be the biggest thing in diecast when it comes out. There will be people going crazy. That's going to be an impossible casting to find. But hopefully Auto World is smart about it, like Greenlight was with the Tokyo Torque stuff, especially the Series 2 with the 510. And hopefully they, at least with that first release, hopefully they put out some volume so that everybody at least has a chance to get their hands on one. Because at 2,500 units and two variations, that's 5,000. It's going to be impossible. And that's definitely a truck I'm going to want. But, man, this little car is so rad. I love it. I don't, like, these cars are so rare. Like, in America, at least where I've been in Colorado and now here in Arizona, it's really rare to see one of these. So I don't know. You know, I'm kind of trusting Greenlight. I should probably Google some pictures. I did Google some for the panel because the panel, like the windows on this one, I wasn't sure. I almost thought Greenlight took a shortcut on the panels, you know. But after a little bit of research, that is how the panels were. But as far as the stance, I don't know. I don't know, like, you know, objectively, as I look at it, I would say this looks a little bit too high. But for all I know, it could be fairly accurate. Other than that, though, I think this casting looks fantastic. It looks great. I want Greenlight to do the Carmen Ghia. They've got a really nice Beetle casting. They've got a really nice Type 2. I hate their Type 1, but it's not an official Greenlight tooling. The Type 1, I think, is something that they inherited. I don't know if it was high speed or what, but this casting here looks really good. But all in all, I think M2 does nicer job on the Volkswagens, the Beetles, and the vans, but they don't do a Carmen Ghia and they don't do a Type 3. And honestly, if M2 did do a Type 3, I don't know that it would be nicer than this, because they'd want opening doors on it, and that would ruin the whole thing. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if M2 gets away from opening doors. That might be their trade-off to add toolings. I know a lot of people would say, no, they're predicated on opening doors and blah, blah, blah. Well, if that's the case, how come the Auto Japan castings don't have opening doors? I could really see them getting away from it. And honestly, I would love them for it. They would move up a notch in my book. This casting does have an opening hatch. So even if the stance is a little bit high, I think the overall stance is good. The angle of everything is good. The way the wheel's set inside the wheel well is good. You know, they didn't screw this one up like they did the 240. That casting is going to be the comparison casting for everything they bring out now. I should rank all of the castings. What I should do is I should make a list of everything that they've brought out in the last 18 months. And then I should rank them. But this is another one here, the T2. M2 doesn't do this casting either. So they actually don't do either one of these. I don't think. I'm pretty sure that the M2 van is a Type 1. It's a nice Type 1. It's definitely a nice casting. But I don't think they do this one. And this one, I think, is Series 8 Hollywood. This is from Field of Dreams. And there's a lot of nice little nuggets on this casting. Some nice little Easter eggs. Just so well replicated from the movie. All the bumper stickers, the weathering, luggage rack, even the peace sign on the windshield. So cool. Well, I was going to look at some other Greenlight cars that I brought out, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I've shown them all before. So I guess I'll run through two of them. We'll take a closer look at this just because I don't know what the deal is, but we haven't seen one of these from Greenlight since this one, and this one was at least 2 years ago. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know what's going on with that. It's another thing too is the wheels on the F-150 look very similar to the Volkswagen. It's a 9-spoke. The Volkswagens are 8-spoke. The Ford is 9-spoke. But this thing is sweet. I kind of wish they would do another one. This is my favorite F-150 that they've done so far. And it really is just because of the civilian deco and the lift. I've got 3 or 4 really nice civilian deco F-150s, but they're all stock ride height. And this is the only one with the lift, and it's just extra piece suspension. It's not like they had to tool a new base. I don't know why, honestly, we haven't seen more of these. We saw the Gulf hitch and tow that came out as a racing hitch and tow and a regular hitch and tow. The Gulf regular hitch and tow has the lift kit. The racing hitch and tow does not. But outside of that, I can't think of any other lifted F-150s off the top of my head. Sweet looking truck. And then the other one that we'll look at is this Dodge B100 Boogie Van. In my favorite deco that they put it out in. This groovy 1970s sunset scheme. Love the wheels on this. I really hope we see these wheels in the accessory packs that they're doing. Really cool van. This actually, believe it or not, is another tooling that they inherited. I don't know who they inherited it from, but this tool is the same tool as the Chevy G20. So how's that for food for thought? They do a nice job executing, though. A lot of nice detail. Honestly, like if they were to design this casting, I wouldn't expect it to be very much different than this. Especially after seeing the Vandura, which is their first American van tooling that they've designed. So, anyways, this video ran pretty darn long for the amount of content that was shown. Should never go this long unless there's some dominating content, which there was not in this case. So I apologize for that. Still some really cool die cast, though, in my opinion. One other thing to notice in this that I forgot to mention is that interior. It's a really cool, almost like a Nutella color. Can't get it to focus for shit, but anyways, awesome truck. Awesome stuff. Go out and get your Greenlight. Get your new toolings. Get them while they're hot. Although these T3s don't seem to be. I found both of these hanging on the pegs late in the day. So, and that's on the first wave. I'm surprised that I was able to find them as easily as I was, because I think they're really nice looking toolings, but definitely not nice enough to get the attention of the scalpers. All right, everyone, have a good night, and I will holler at you all at the next video.